All right, I had fun with this one. A little Illustrator text effect imported into Adobe Express. And then I added a beach background with a lens flare and some clouds and a logo. So the text, the colors in the text match or are based on the three colors in the logo. So let's do it. I went to and then I had to use Illustrator. Okay, I couldn't use Vector P because Vector P did not give you editable type, right? So you want to be able to click on like the 2025 and then change it to like 2026, right? You want the type to be live and editable, not already flattened or rasterized. Okay, so I went to, and I tried using a Vector, man, Illustrator for the web, right? So in the Creative Cloud, there's there used to be a way they changed the interface, but you used to be able to sort by the web, all platforms, web, and I tried using Illustrator beta for the web, but it also did not let you do live editable type. So I got the template or the text. There's all kinds of good kind of pop culture app, game, series, movie type fonts on Adobe Stock. So if you go to Adobe Stock, I'm at Text Effect Summer for this one. And I guess while I'm here, I'll click on it. You can see Summer Party Editable, and then it has a file number associated with it as well. But at the Adobe Stock homepage, you can search for text effect. And then here's like Lord of the Rings. You know, if you add some more terms, so here's the filter for vector because we want to do it in Illustrator with a EPS svg.ai file. So you can see most of them look kind of cartoony, kind of like not as photorealistic, right? So some of this, like when you see this with these lens flares and like it's more of a Photoshop file, you never know. They're kind of similar, these applications, but I added summer to text effect search, and I scrolled down a little until I found, I tried a couple and they didn't work. So sometimes the fonts, you can't download the fonts. This one, the fonts work fine. Either they're part of the standard Adobe install or the Adobe Illustrator, the fonts that ship with Adobe Illustrator, or maybe they're available through Adobe Cloud. All right, so get it downloaded, right? It's on my Google Drive right here for class, but you can get it from Adobe Stock or get a different one from FreePick or Graphic River or some other Adobe Illustrator text effect site. All right, and then I downloaded an image of the Lobo Seawolf logo onto my desktop. So get whatever kind of color theme you want to try to change your text to, and then get it open with Illustrator. So I got Illustrator open. I'm going to drag the template, this .ai file from Adobe Stock, and let's do file save as while we're here. And I'm going to save to my desktop. I'll call this I don't know, summer 2025 number 2 desktop. Okay. And it's got a bunch of stuff we're not going to use. So you can kind of go through and you can see where they are. You can kind of eyeball off, like there's some lens flares that are in here. Then this whole background with the clouds and the balloons and the like radial starburst effect. So I don't know, you can just leave it as is, or you can kind of turn off bits and pieces. I'm going to kind of simplify it and just use the letters. So let's, we don't have to edit the word summer, but we want to change party. So I'm going to go to the party meatball and then double click. Sometimes, yeah, you see when you have all these visible, they start to, like, it gets hard to select things. So I'm going to eyeball off the background. I'm going to eyeball off that texture group on the bottom of the red layer, and then the group with the lens flares. And now we can kind of come in and we don't get all that cursor confusion. So, all right, so I'm going to double click, triple click to highlight party and change it to 2025. And I want it to center, and the little X is hard to see, but you might be able to see on your screen. There's a little X in the bottom left because the justification settings are for left, and you want to align left, and you want it centered because you want to be able to drag it to the center. I'm going to switch from my type tool to the selection tool and save my changes to my editable type. Now the little registration point, little X on the baseline there is centered, and I'm going to click and drag. Then I'm going to hold shift to kind of do a horizontal transformation and look for that smart guide to snap, and then let go of the mouse and then let go of shift. And again, I got this little X on the lower left. You could probably leave it, but I don't know if it annoys you like it annoys me. If I come and select the type, which you can see I have because the meatball's there, you can change it so that it's center aligned as well. And then click to the selection tool, start to drag right, hold shift so it's perfect right transformation. And then look for the smart guide. Let's see, I'm having a little trouble seeing it, but looks like that's where it wants to center. All right, so I'm going to take my summer text and meatball it. I guess I'm not quite ready because I haven't brought my logo in, so I could bring my logo in. And then I could go to my swatches panel because I need to get before I can recolor my text, I want to get my 3 colors in my swatches panel. And so if you don't have swatches, go to Window Swatches to bring up the swatches panel. And let's see, a bunch of stuff going on in this swatches panel, but I'm going to make a new group with a folder icon, call it Lobo. Get my eyedropper tool with the I key, or come over here and click on it in the toolbar. And then get the dark blue selected in my fill and hit the plus button to say OK. And it came in over here, and I'm going to drag it. I guess what I want to do is I want to drag it from the fill into this little folder. So 2 more times, get the light blue in the fill, drag it in, and that white could be like a gray off-white color, so get that color as well. Okay, we got 3 colors, and now let's target 2025. And then up here in I call it the options bar, but if you go to window control, like maybe Adobe calls it the control bar. So we want to do recolor artwork, which you could also get to if you type in recolor artwork. Recolor, edit colors, recolor artwork, edit colors, recolor artwork, ... But this guy, this icon, should let you go to color, swatch group, and Lobo. All right, and I think that's slightly different than, because the order of my colors are different, the results were a little different. So if you don't get the results you want, right, I guess what I'm saying is I was kind of expecting it to look like kind of the whole, let's see if it looks the same. I don't think it does, right? So no. So you could play with it a little. Let's see, click on 2025 again, recolor it again, go to the advanced options, and then, oh man, we got a lot of options. I guess for simplicity's sake, I'm just going to leave it, but I guess just know that the order that you put your swatches in affects how your artwork gets colored. So all right, so I'm gonna leave it just because it's gonna be a pain if I try to do it right now. It looks good. It's still 3D. And then I'm gonna do the same to summer and recolor artwork, swatch group. All right, so that one I think is actually the one. No, maybe it's not. Yeah, it's not. Because it looks, the only part I didn't like was like this part of the R was hard to read in my original one, so it's different. It's fine. Okay, so basically what this did is that these text effects are a bunch of appearance panel settings that a graphic artist used to customize kind of 10 different things associated with the font, right? So there's a bunch of these fills, stroke, warp, and so, you know, a graphic artist took a bunch of time to make those settings, and you can just use them by downloading the template. So it saves you a bunch of time and gets you some kind of cool professional pop culture looking results. All right, so I'm done with Lobo. If you don't delete Lobo, then you get some problems when you import to Adobe Express. So I'm going to drag that linked file to the garbage, and I'm going to click to see how it's going to look. All right, so let me do one more file save. It's just right, because I have some edits in here, and there's a star, and so I want... Actually, I'm going to save it as an Illustrator file too, because this is a .eps. So File, Save As, and save on my computer. And Adobe Illustrator, AI, and save. Okay, now I can minimize this window, and I should be able to, if I see my file, there it is, I should be able to import it into a new Adobe Express. If I drag and drop it onto the upload, and then the first option worked better. It creates like 200 layers with this option. So, all right, so when you have a simple file, you can get away with this, but I'm just going to choose this one, place as a linked image. And then it wants you to choose the dimensions, the pixel dimension. So Instagram square post was fine for me. And I'm going to close that window and rename it something like Summer 2025 2. And what's cool about the linked file is you can option drag from the middle out to get like a bigger graphic, and it redraws it for you. So so vector graphics can be upsampled or scaled up, and you get good results. But I wasn't able to edit these. Like, it's a linked file, and you can mess around to like open in Illustrator or open in Creative Cloud. And this was just frustrating for me. Nothing really worked. But let's kind of align it one more time. So it looks like got a little bit of, maybe it's not quite centered. Oh well, you can play around with yours, see if you get slightly different results. All right, let's see, maybe make it a little bigger and a little bit to the left. Okay, so right, this is nice because we're on a transparent background, so you can see here you can bring in whatever you want. And I think I brought in like a beach, so photos, a beach photo. You could add beach party if you want to get some balloons, or Command Z. Make sure that, yeah, see, when I brought it in, it thought, oh, you want to replace, you get that little replace icon, but no, you don't want to replace, you just want to put the beach in the background, and then you want to expand it so it takes up the whole screen, and drag it to the bottom, and I don't know, that's fine for demo, right? So lens flares, like the original one had a lens flare. Enter. So I'm searching media photos, and then you just want a black background. So I dragged again, don't let it replace it. And so I'm just gonna estimate it here. So when you go to opacity and then change the blend mode to screen, the black pixels drop out and you get a little lens flare look. And if you want to edit, you could adjust the see how it has some orange in there? Like, I guess it looks cool because the sun's kind of orange and an orange sun at the beach is okay. But if you want, you can drop down the saturation and you get rid of that orange distortion. And then if you want, you can kind of control, like if you want it to be a blue cool lens flare, you can add some blues, or maybe, I don't know, you can play with this. So, and then, you can scale it, rotate it, option drag to duplicate it if you want a bunch of lens flares. So lens flares, and let's see what else. Oh, the clouds. There were some clouds too in the other document, and I want my Lobo in here too. Let's not forget. Well, oops. Well, we see Lobo. Oh man, Command Z. So, okay, there we go. And then option from a corner. All right, a few more clouds just for kicks. And black and white clouds I kind of liked because, again, that same blend mode trick works where you can go to opacity, screen. They don't call them blend modes. I have a student ask me why I call them blend modes. But in Photoshop, that's what they're called. So I'm going to drag this down to the bottom. And then it kind of looks good like underneath, but again, you can maybe do something like that, and then option drag a couple copies of the clouds to have like a, I don't know, kind of, doesn't really make sense because clouds wouldn't be on the sand of the beach here. But anyways, if you want to add those photorealistic effects that I eyeballed off, some of these like background effects with clouds, and you could even look for a radial starburst effect, and I'm sure you could find it in radial blue starburst. Oh, radial blue starburst in photos. Radial starburst. Oh man, is that not what it's called? I thought that's called like a, I guess all starbursts are radial by definition. There we go. So something, I don't know, you guys can scroll and look for something else, but if you want to add that effect, you could put it like in the middle here. And then it's getting a little complicated, this document, but kind of center it, and then option drag it out. And it's on top of everything, so it's a little distracting, so maybe drag it down to like the layer below the text. And if you wanted to do the opacity, it's on screen already, so all right, good. All right, so I'm going to upload, but I hope you had fun, and I hope you liked that. And, the whole point is that you can go and get these text effects. You can change their colors to make them on brand for your design or your needs. And then you can put them into Adobe Express where you like to work, because it has all the templates for social media and other marketing purposes. All right, hope you had fun.